2000. Prologue. Capistrel, France. August 6, 1999. It was not the first time he had murdered, nor would it be the last. Ricardo slicked back his dark wet hair and started up the white marble villa steps, stirring the crispy leaves in his wake. If he did not act with great alacrity, the national police would sweep the grounds and discover he had slashed the French woman's throat and pushed her limp body into the villa pool. Survival, not remorse, dominated his psyche. Remaining in this reality even for a day was risky. He would journey to Cibola, where the entities would transcend him into another world. He barked into the cellular as he skidded onto the veranda. "Martin! Martin!" If necessary, he would leave Martin behind. The little scrounger, having bolted earlier with some tramp, had taken a joyride in his car and spent his money. After 500 years, Martin did not appreciate his benevolence. Martin would have died at the mountain pass without his mercy at Cibola so long ago. The cellular connected to a scratchy transmission. Martin's voice wavered.
"Yeah."
"Martin, where are you?"
"Coming past the gate, old friend."
The woman with Martin laughed in the background. Incensed, Ricardo sharpened his focus beyond the rippling palms and the long linear gardens to his tiny yellow sports car racing through the front gate. "Move your arse!" He pressed the phone to his ear as the car spun up the hill.
"What's the problem?"
asked Martin. "We're going to Cibola."
"You're kidding."
"This is no joke, Martin." They needed to board the corporate jet well in advance of the police snooping around the villa. And then in 18 hours, they could be at Cibola. Martin revved the engine and then skidded to a stop on the gravel. As Ricardo descended the veranda steps, his thin, gray-haired friend leaped over the driver's door. Ricardo rounded the hood, yanked the blonde from the car, and hurled her across the driveway stones. "Get back in the car, Martin." Martin's shaky nerves always made his hands tremble. He slid into the passenger seat as Ricardo gripped the wooden steering wheel and shifted and spun around in a wide semicircle. Stones kicked up behind them as a trail of swirling dust billowed upward. Martin stared at the naked body face down in the pool as they passed. "That woman is dead." "Shut up. We're heading to the Marseille airport." "Are you crazy, killing her? The longer this goes on, the more chances you take." "She pushed me," said Ricardo, his knuckles whiter on the wheel. The blue ocean spread outward along the coast. Claudette should never have tried blackmail. "But to kill her?" Ricardo slowly smiled and squinted into the sun. "No one challenges me, Martin. No one." The hum of the jet engines assured Ricardo they had escaped trouble. He confidently gazed out the portal as the jet banked over the island. The white sands and slow-moving breakers were bathed in twilight along the coast. He gripped his pen and perused his papers on the table, and then verified his calculations on his laptop. In this new world, he would become a powerful figure in the defense establishment. Power resided with armaments. 200 years ago, during the American Revolution, he had amassed a fortune supplying arms early to the colonists. The thought of that duplicitous Franklin, the chief of the rebels, and his lying spies upset him even now. The British nearly arrested him just after Christmas because Franklin's contacts had divulged his dealing with the Frenchman and his smugglers. He had fled with Martin from Le Havre at the end of January 1777. The voyage made him rich. He remembered the cargo well: 54-pound cannons, 14,000 muskets, 100,000 flints, and assorted munitions. After docking in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in late April, he and Martin stayed in the shadows. The image of the powerfully built Washington on his white horse outside Morristown had remained with him. He smiled subtly as the jet paralleled the coast. As the millennium approached, today's technologies and expenditures bore no semblance to the cannon and musket of those days, but his lust for power and fortune had become ingrained in his soul. Again, Ricardo studied his notes on the laptop. By constructing a reality geared toward the prodigious defense expenditures, he would possess a private empire, selling to the government as he accumulated great wealth and power. He wanted to work instead of subsisting within the Playboy atmosphere of the last 14 months. Martin slept with his arms folded across his blue polo shirt. His unshaven face and disheveled gray hair gave him a crude appearance. He had whined about leaving this scenario, but staying behind would have only hastened his demise. A number of companies fit his profile. In 16 hours, they would land in Denver and then be whisked off by helicopter over the craggy snow peaks to Cibola. The consciousness of the entities residing within a galactic civilization's remnant outpost would elevate his desire for a powerful defense corporation into a new reality.